There's a few reasons why I do what I do. I do what I do because I find it exciting when it works. I've been a technical security recruiter for about the last 8-9 years. It's often nerve-wracking though, and soul-crushing to some extent. Maybe we dabble into that. Maybe we talk about a bit of reflection, and we see where it goes.
You are listening to Unscripted.
Just read this in my page a day. Fill in your own day diary, and it's got a thing here that says, "Doing little things well is a step towards doing big things better." Harry F. Banks. Isn't that poignant for today? So I've been thinking a lot about what do I record today. A lot of what I'm trying to do is related to cybersecurity and careers, and I thought, what should I do next? I've considered doing an introduction to myself. There's a lot there that can be talked about, but I don't feel that is what you, the people watching, are looking for at the moment. So maybe we dabble into that. Maybe we talk about a bit of reflection, and we see where it goes. I'm Charles Wroth. I go by Unscripted in the security community. I've been a technical security recruiter for about the last 8-9 years with my own company, redhair.io. I've also subcontracted for a few companies. I have quite a few of my own direct clients. And there's a few reasons why I do what I do. First and foremost, I think a lot of people might not admit this, but I will. I do what I do because I find it exciting when it works. It's often nerve-wracking though, and soul-crushing to some extent. But I do what I do because I have bills to pay. I have a family to feed. I have a mortgage to pay. I have a medical aid that makes my heart skip a beat every month when it goes off. And it creates a lot of stress and pressure on myself to deliver and to execute. And money matters. Part of why I'm doing YouTube is, there's a myriad of reasons. I think back to a community I ran when I left the military. So between 2007 and 2012, I served 6 years in the British military in 3 Para, 3rd Battalion, the Parachute Regiment, based out of Colchester, Essex. I deliberately went over to the UK in order to join the military. I wanted a military start to my adult life. I had a fantastic time, had a tough time, but I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot out of it, and it showed me a whole bunch of things about myself that I didn't know before. And for that, I'm quite thankful. Maybe someday we can talk more about what I did there. We can talk about my tours in Afghan. If that's something people would want to know about, I'm unsure. I know I've consumed a lot of content about it, but I think what I want to tackle today, to some extent, is the last video I posted. I posted a video called, I think the big banners like red flags, and the title was something like, like the small things getting in the way of you getting the job. And it's 100% true and it's 100% factual, and I think that video gives a lot of value. And part of why I'm doing YouTube is that, I talked earlier about reflecting back on the community. So when I left the military, sorry, I'm going a bit all over the place, is I ran a community called Termination SharePoint. Terrible name. I had a lot of SharePoint admins trying to join the community. And it is the reason that I got into cybersecurity. So maybe, it's a full circle moment. But when I met our, I don't know what it is called, like an educational officer. So it was an ex-retired major at the education building on Merville Barracks, where we were based towards the end of my service. He asked me what I wanted to do, and I said, no, I want to get into security. And I had no perception that cybersecurity even existed. So when I talked about security, it was physical security, doing bodyguarding, anti-piracy. It was all the rage then. It was an extreme demand, it paid very well. And, he suggested to me, and he says, why don't you become a bricklayer or a carpenter or electrician? Now, in the UK, I think having a trade is a really good way to go. You can provide very well for your family, and I think it's something interesting to do. I did construction before I joined the military, and I loved it. But what he said to me didn't sit well with me. He took my reality and substituted his own. And I was headstrong about getting into the physical security space. Maybe it was the money. I don't necessarily think it was the excitement of it. But I started obsessing about researching this. And I went out, and a few guys had left my battalion before me that were slowly getting into the industry. And I started doing a lot of research into it. And I try to figure out what certifications you need, how it works, who the companies are. And I mentioned in my previous video, that's where I did research about this company, Mast, where I applied. I think they pretty much interviewed everyone that applied. And I started getting a name at my barracks for being the guy that knows the stuff. So, in half an hour, I can pretty much tell you everything you need to know, like to have direction and look at what certs and the trading providers and what works, what doesn't, which companies are hiring, whatnot. And it started becoming a very inefficient thing to me. I think deep down, I'll be truthful and honest, I am a lazy person. I think that means that I then always find the most effective, efficient way to get something done. And it was taking up too much of my time to answer the same questions to different people at different times. It was consuming more time than what it needed. And, this is before Google Docs and that kind of stuff. Google Docs could have solved this pretty easily for me. Maybe I should have explored YouTube then. But I then decided to start a Facebook group, which was just for people from my battalion. And what it was, I drew in industry experts, so people working on the circuit or in maritime security and bodyguarding and all that. I brought them in, and I brought in guys from my battalion who were looking to get into this industry. It was a very small, tight-knit little group. It quickly became a parachute regiment thing, so it was just for people from 1, 2, and 3 para. And obviously 4 para was welcome. And I think I spoke to Hugh Keir. He was in 3 para. He was also getting out at the time, if I recall. And he had some really exciting plans. And I said to him, he said to me, I think it was, he said, why don't you make this tri-services? So, Army, Navy, Air Force, and dare I say, Royal Marines. So I think we kept like a separate one just for the paras, which now I look back at it, it was so daft. But we made it open to everyone. And I still remember, I printed some business cards, and some people that came to our barracks for training when, they mentioned they were getting out and they were on resettlement. I gave them a business card, and they're like, oh, they know about Termination SharePoint. They joined it. And the biggest thing we did on this community is we didn't tolerate bullshit. We had to respect the industry experts. If you didn't play the game, you were out. Because these groups can get very political sometimes. But the group allowed me and others to answer the same questions once, and then when someone else came up with that question, you say, yeah, mate, here's a link, read this, there you have all your answers. And I think that's something I can achieve with YouTube, and I've already started doing it. When I speak to candidates, I'd like to make more content for potential clients or customers of mine. But it's pretty useful when I'm helping someone with their resume, that's especially when they're getting into the industry, to say, just dude, ma'am, whoever, friend, I made a video on YouTube. Check it out. It's a bit long, and I'm going to make a better version of it at some point. But check out this video about resumes. Sorry, it's been raining for 3 days, and maybe the rain in the background would be a nice little sound. So that's one of my big reasons to starting YouTube is it's going to be almost like a useful thing for me, in that if I need to take time out of my day to help someone with their resume, which I do, and I do a lot, and I've been doing quite a bit more recently. If I give you an hour of my time, it means I lose an hour where I work. And if I lose an hour worth of work, that has an effect on potentially what I could earn. So a cheaper alternative is to give them the free resource, like run through this. And I think the plan is I'm going to do lots of YouTubes. I'm going to do more, not professional YouTubes. I think, let's call them professional, where we're going to work through this step by step, because every time when I look at an old video, I realize I forgot something. So go through it and do like a masterclass, which is going to be free. And that can lead to some free downloads, like checklists. I'm busy finishing up a document on the previous video, the red flags video. I have 2 awesome guys reviewing it for me this weekend. Thanks for the help, Buster. And, so I'm giving it to you for free. And if that's not enough, you can check the digital downloads, which is going to be free. And if that's still not enough, I'm going to probably have a low ticket item that you can purchase. And there's a lot of negative sentiment in cybersecurity, and I think even on YouTube, when people try and make money out of it. Now, people might say it's not authentic, it's disingenuous, but I've done a lot in the world, and let's say in the cybersecurity community. I've done a lot and added a lot of value for nothing, and I'm happy I did. But we all have families, we all have bills to pay. So the big thing is I'm going to give away as much free as I can. But if there's something I've spent hours and hours and days on refining, over the last couple of years, I think it's fair to put a price to that. And the beauty of it is you don't have to buy it. You don't have to take it. I'm going to do my utmost not to peddle it or shill it or whatever the going word for it is. So it's going to be there for you as an option. And even then, when you've bought that, let's talk about my resume guide. Let's say I sell that for $19, which I think is a pretty fair price for it. Let's say that's not even enough. Then I need to have another offer to present. And, then I have a high ticket item. And maybe there's someone that's an exec or a C-level person, and time is money. They haven't got time to mess around. So then they might want to skip all the free stuff and go for I want an hour of your time, Charlie, because you've been doing this for 9 years. You're an expert in the cybersecurity recruiting field. I haven't got time to waste. You can look at my resume. I'll pay you whatever it is, $100, $200, whatever it is an hour. Let's get this done. And that still means I can give the free options to other people. And it doesn't mean that if I make a connection with a person that's just getting in or down on their luck or been retrenched or made redundant, that I can't say, hey, dude, listen, just here's a link. Just take the thing. Yes, it's $20. Don't worry about it. Pay it forward. It still allows me to do that. But it just means that I can, recoup some of not the financial loss, but the time loss that I've had with my work. So I wanted to make that crystal clear. Like, I think the first part I mentioned was, creating a single point of information for people that I'm assisting, creating some downloads that they can get. And the second reason is to make money out of it. Now, I'll be honest, I am doing YouTube for more than just making money. But if I can do it in a way that I can earn some revenue from it, like how awesome would that be? I have dreams and aspirations and other things I want to do. There's a lot more I want to do in the community, but it takes time and it takes money. So, nothing stops me taking some of the money I make and supporting, B-sides, or helping start B-sides Harari, or whatever it is, paying for transport for me to get to other conferences and share the gospel of cybersecurity. But yeah, I've been watching this guy, and I need to remember his name. I started recently on YouTube. He's been a filmmaker for 20 years. It sounds like he's got a bit of a South African accent. He looks like a good-looking version of Charles Manson. Maybe not a great way to explain him. But I think he was making videos the way I wanted to make them, which is raw, authentic, minimal editing. And with my previous video, Red Flags, or whatever I called it, I started getting better at the editing. And I was telling a friend of mine that I was doing some stuff with, and he was helping me with the editing. He helped me edit the communities video, Pregnant Pillay. I said to him, I enjoy the editing. And he's like, dude, no one enjoys the editing. And I said, no, it's fun, The problem was, I think on that video, I started getting a bit better and more confident with the editing. And I think I maybe over-edited it a little bit, especially the intro, and maybe I already got tainted by all the other content I watched, which have, such good hooks. And I want to get my message out there to as many people as possible. Whether they've subscribed to me or not, whether they like me or not, whether they comment or not, is I think deep down it matters to some extent, but at the moment it doesn't matter to me. My goal is to get 5 videos out. I've already sort of penciled in my next goal, which is to get 20 videos out. But I want to make it authentic and genuine. But the challenge you have, I think, when you're small and you're starting, which is not an issue, I don't mind, is that you've got to create stuff that people want to watch. And I can stand firm and stand strong and stand proud and say, I think my Red Flags video is of great value. I do feel like I looked at my notes a bit more. I should actually share my notes. They were terrible. But I felt like I was gravitating towards it. But the bigger issue I had was I was happy with everything. I messed around a bit with the start of it, with the editing and whatnot. And when I posted it the next day, I watched it. I had a panic because I thought I messed the audio up. It was too soft. Turns out I am actually clinically, I've severe asymmetric hearing loss from my time in the military. But the next day after posting it, I watched the intro again on my phone, and I was like, yes, this is much better quality than I'd posted before. I think I'd really, ramped it up from my first video in the car, riffing on resumes, to where I am now with this Red Flag video. But I felt like I used a bit of a clickbaity type title. It's not very good clickbait. I think it's had like 80 views, which is great. I think it's got about 7 hours watch time, which is phenomenal. There's 7 hours worth of help and guidance there. But yeah, I'll be honest. I was a bit embarrassed about that first part. Now, some people know me that will watch my stuff because they know me and they support me. They couldn't care less. But I thought to myself, for me, as someone that consumes an extreme amount of YouTube content, would I have stayed on that video? And I don't know. It felt a bit too cringy, and I think how I did that first line, as people call it, the hook, it felt disingenuous. And I wish I could start the video and say, hey, I'm Charles. I've been a cybersecurity recruiter for the last 9 years. These are the red flags that I've seen you doing that's stopping you getting that job. And maybe that would have worked better. I don't know. Hindsight is 2020. But I felt a bit silly about that intro. I contemplated deleting it, and I thought, you know what? No. This is about learning. It's about getting 5 videos out of a reasonable quality, that I said in the beginning. So I'm going to leave it up there and see where it goes. But watching this guy, I'm going to pause now and then start recording again just so I can break this up. I watched some of his videos and I was like, this guy's doing it the way I want it. Now, do I want to use his style? No, but he gives really good advice. He was in film making for 20 years. Now he's in front of the camera, which is something he never thought he would do. But it's almost like he does one take and he has the confidence just to riff on a subject. And he uses some very basic notes. I've got my notebook in front of me. I literally wrote sat vid, so Saturday video. And that's it. I like how genuine and authentic it is. And the guy's obviously doing very well with it. And, it's exciting to see where he'll go. I love seeing other people succeed. And I'm a firm believer that I will succeed as well in this whole YouTube journey, as well as business and family and, all that stuff. But I want to make sure that you understand that I'm always going to try and be wholesome and authentic. I don't want to make clickbait, and I don't think I've got the mental capacity for it. But I think in this beginning stage, I need to make it attractive to people that don't know me, so that they can get the value, so they can get the insight. Because I've come to the conclusion that I have a lot of value to give when it comes to careers, especially careers and everything in that, interviews, resumes. Like, oh man, we're gonna talk a lot about resumes over the next few years. I know quite a bit about cybersecurity and how to get into the industry, what counts. I know a lot about certifications. I know a lot of horror stories. I know the sort of dangers of it. I've done a lot more than you might imagine, and I think it's cool and it's important to share it. My father told me once, he said, not that I'm anyway at the top, but he said to me, if you reach the top, it's your job to send the elevator down. And now I've made it like my life's work to help as many people get in this industry, because I want people to be gainfully employed, earn a good salary, provide for their family. But with everything, there's an intrinsic business value. I get a lot of value out of doing B-sides, not as much as I'd like. I wish it did more for my business, but it probably has, and I'm just not aware of it. So I do it all for the right reason, but there's like this, symptom. I do the thing for the right reasons, and I love B-sides, the conference. It's like my wedding day every year. But there is a value to it, and I don't think it's a wrong thing to extract value out of that. Am I going to misuse my position in B-sides? No. Am I going to take advantage? Definitely not. But, if me running B-sides can lead to me having a conversation with one of the sponsors that wants to work with me to recruit, like, kudos to me. And yeah, I want to make that promise. I want to stay authentic. I want to stay genuine. I want to stay real. I'm going to fix my background at some point. I've got a really bad, selfie light. I think I got my wife, or she got for herself. I've got to pull up with a white fitted sheet, which is frustrating me here. And I'm in my bride room, as we would call it. I have a lot of hopes and dreams and things I want to achieve, but I think I wanted to start with that. So yeah. Let me see if there's actually been recording. Oh. This rain is so good. It's probably gonna mess up the audio though. Maybe we just enjoy it. By the way, this video is brought to you by 2 milligram Nicorette chewing gum. I quit smoking like a week ago. Yeah, maybe I should wait for the rain. I don't know. It's been raining a lot here where I live. If you do open source intelligence, you can probably figure out quite quickly where I live. Maybe don't. I am a bit negative about my red flags video, and I don't think I need to be. I am proud that I put it out, and it's gonna stay there. Will I make better versions of it in the future? Sure, but I put a third video out. You know, some people fail to even get the first one out, and I'm not exactly a success story on YouTube yet, but I did more than what anyone else has, or that I've done more than what most people have. I saw a video yesterday that said, I can't remember the number, but it's like there's 1 billion active users on YouTube and less than 1% make videos. So, you know, I'm part of that 1% that made one video. I'm probably part of an even smaller minority that's done a second, and even smaller that's done a third, and here I am doing my fourth. And I haven't figured out what I'm going to call this video. It's a bit of a reflection, a bit of a why I'm doing YouTube. It'll get more refined over time, and just a reminder of the goal. It's just to release 5 videos of a reasonable quality. I think I've achieved that. After this, I'll have one more to do. Keep it authentic. Keep it genuine. Get better at talking on camera. I don't typically think I have that much of an issue talking in public, but talking to this little camera on a phone stand that's on top of a Logitech MX Master 3S box that's on top of a Huawei speaker box that's on top of a cooler box I gave my daughter for Christmas a few years ago. It's pretty damn good, and I'm going to celebrate that. So, you know, in a lot of YouTube videos, people will say, you know, like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to say that because, you know what? I forget to like videos. I forget to subscribe to channels that I enjoy. So if anything, it's a reminder. Do I need you to subscribe? No. Do I need you to like it? No. What do I need? I need comments. Not to get more traffic, not to train the algorithm, whatnot. I mean, sure, it is useful. But after a while, I'd like enough interaction with us that I can take a comment from someone and create a video with it. So I can help that one person. I think that also brings me to my other goal, which is if I can help one person with a video, we want this at scale. So if I can help 2 people with one video, that already achieves the result. So if you have any ideas, any doubts or concerns, or maybe you're in an interview cycle with a company now and you're unsure about something, drop me that question, and you know, maybe I can do a quick video about it, maybe do a short, maybe I can get you on a call and we can do a video together. Nothing stops us. I think the rain is getting a bit too heavy now, so I'm probably gonna have to trim it. I don't have elite level microphones, so I don't think I can cut it out. I have a zinc roof, so I love the sound, but it is noisy. And maybe this is it. Maybe this is the end of the video, and I think that's okay. What am I gonna do next, video wise? I don't know. I'm gonna have a think about that. I'd like to do a live, but then I've got to get stuff I have to pay for, like Riverside or whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I can surprise you all. I think I need to be a bit more consistent, i.e. I think I've posted well enough. I had a bit of a delay, but that happened. But I'm not going to whittle myself down to I must post on a Thursday or Tuesday and a Thursday. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm not ready for that. I'm not professional enough for that on YouTube. I can tell you one thing. I'm very excited for the future. If there's anything I can do to help you out, please do let me know. I'm going to find a better way to share my downloadables and stuff. Give me some time on that. Yeah, have a fantastic weekend. Take care. Cheers. Bye.